of the Chicago River. The Lake Street and the elevated are both on the same bridge. Originally, when the Lake Street was built, this was a swing bridge, and the Boxco bridge that we're running across now replaced that swing bridge in operation.
Not sure.
We're now going across the Guinness Book of Records, the world's busiest train junction, Tower 18. By 1900, all four of the elevated companies were operating, and the loop elevated was also operating. Attention passengers, this is not a regularly serviced train. This train is not in service. Please do not board the train. This is a private charter train. That we are now running on opened in 1897. The franchise from the Lake Street built all the way down to Wabash. The franchise from the Northwestern Railroad built along what was then 5th Avenue, which is now Wells Street, to Van Buren. A 5th company built the elevated loop on the Wabash side. It also included a connection between Harrison and Van Buren for the south side. The problem with the loop was the south side of the loop. Many of the retailers protested vigorously. No, 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 no. Finally, a plan was made to franchise an elevated on Van Buren that would run from Wabash west to Halstead. That's approximately a mile. And they got the signatures, 51%, mainly from the warehouse people west of the river. They only built the elevated over Van Buren from Wabash west to Market Street, which is now Wacker Drive. One of the extras that they had to put in was to put the upright pillars at the curb line. We're on the Wabash side, and the upright pillars are in the street as they are on Lake Street and on Wells Street. Which brings us to an interesting item. Why is Tower 18 Tower 18? It is believed that the numbering system started with that Van Buren proposed elevated and worked its way 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Franklin Station on Van Buren was 7. The junction at Van Buren and Wells was 8. LaSalle was 9. Dearborn was 10. State was 11. And the junction at Van Buren and Wabash was 12. Adams was 13. Madison was 14. Randolph was 15. State and Lake was 16. Clark and Lake was 17. And then Tower 18 was 18. And going around, Randolph and Wells was 19, Madison was 20, and Quincy was 21. In the 50s, when they broke through the old Wells or Fifth Avenue terminal on the Metropolitan, and they made an interlocking between Van Buren and Jackson, that became interlocking number 22. Okay, now on the right side is a good chance to take a look at the structure over Van Buren, and you can see that all of the supports are at the curb line.
A lot of windows got bricked up.
Okay, now we're on the connector that's going to the south side. The south side was the first rapid transit. It opened in 1892. It ran from Congress to 39th Street. Why didn't it go any further? Well, 39th Street was the city limit. In 1889 or 1888, the city quadrupled its size, annexing many townships on the south side, including the township of Lake and the township of Hyde Park.
And there's
To the
the
left,
hotel.
there used to be a tortuous S-curve here. Notice that it has now been smoothed out. In the middle 90s, the Green Line was closed down for a complete rehab.